I wish you luck in realizing your ambition.
Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello and welcome back to Everything Possible in Elden Ring. Last time we made our way here to the Weeping Peninsula where it is always raining. We also went up onto this landmass right here. We took care of Ordis's Rise, we went through the Impaler's Catacombs, and we fought another Knight's Cavalry. Today, we'll be exploring even more of Weeping Peninsula, specifically this plateau just up here, and the Ailing Village that resides at the top, and a couple other areas as well. But first, before we even look at my gear or stats, I have a few corrections to make, largely thanks to Fragus in Discord. Wink wink, nudge nudge, join in the description below. I have a few things to talk about. Number one is the critical damage modifier. You can see here on the Morningstar that I'll be using, it has a critical modifier of 100. If I go all the way up to the top, the dagger has a modifier of 130. The Lordsworn's Greatsword has a modifier of 110. I believe I have mentioned this before, but I foolishly, in a couple of episodes, compared one weapon type to another in terms of its critical damage. You simply can't look at the critical modifier and compare it to a weapon within a different category in order to determine which one will do more damage. There is a lot more at factor when you are calculating critical damage. The weapon type, like a dagger or a straight sword or a greatsword, that comes into play along with the critical modifier itself. So to compare just based on the critical modifier is certainly erroneous. Next, Gideon Ofnir, not Gideon Ulfnir. There is no L in his name. I don't know why in my head I always heard an L, but it is Gideon Ofnir. And lastly, Bloody Slash, the Ashivor that we got from the Bloody Knight in Fort Height. I erroneously, that's the second time I've used that word, so if you're keeping track, there you go. I had said that it caused bleed buildup or hemorrhage buildup in the player itself, and that is not true. It is simply HP damage. Every time you use the Bloody Slash skill, it will damage the player for 5% of your maximum hit points plus 50 on top of that, and then it's rounded down to the nearest whole number. So 0.05 times your max HP plus 50, rounded down, that's how much damage you will take each time you use Bloody Slash. Right, that was a whole lot of talking. I'm already tired. But we have to get into this. So here are my stats. If you want to know anything more about it, go ahead and pause the video now. For my gear, I will be using the Morningstar. I do have the Ground Slam Ash of War on it, so we'll be playing around with that. The longbow with the default Mighty Shot. Finger Seal. I have both Firebone arrows and Poison Bone arrows at the ready. I also have the Great Turtle Shell that we picked up last time with, of course, its default Barricade Shield. For my armor, I have the Bandit Mask, the Scale Armor, Godric Soldier Gauntlets, and Aristocrat Boots. I believe this might be the first time we've played with all 4 bits of armor. I have the Green Turtle Talisman going along with the Green Turtle Shell to give me incredibly fast stamina regeneration. And then on my hotbar, I do have my flask. I did reallocate again to give me 1 extra cerulean tier. I have glowstones, sleep pots, and some fire grease. Right, let us start making our way up to this plateau. Now along the way, there really is not a whole lot of things off of the trail. There are a few deer that you can kill if you need some thin beast bones, and I might actually do just that. There's some crafting materials along the edges. Oh, just chopping that tree, which is not going to do me any good. There are some crafting materials off to the side if you need any. There are some earthly flowers, some mushrooms, etc. But if you just follow the path, eventually you're going to see a shiny deadhead, but you're also going to see this item right here, which is a yellow ember. We're going to take a look at the description because it's a little bit funky. An ember taken from the eye socket of a corpse, a sign that the deceased suffered from the flame of frenzy. This grape has ripened and burst. Kind of disgusting, and it only gets worse the more you think about it. This crafts exactly one item. It is a frenzy flame stone, which is similar to the warming stones in its healing properties, but we'll talk more about that when we get the crafting recipe book much later on. We do have some rats, however. You can see there off in the distance, there's something that I can target, and once we actually can see them, let's grab this smaller butterfly, you'll see that something is a bit amiss. So I'm going to actually two-hand here and see if we can't get a nice ground slam on them. Perfect. Notice that buildup in the center of my screen. That is madness. If you allow madness to completely build up, whether it is inflicted on you from an enemy or self-inflicted, we will see an incantation like that here very soon. It will cause burst damage to both your hit points and your FP. And the calculations are as follows. The hit points, it will take 100 plus 15% of your maximum hit points, and your FP loss will be 30 plus 10% of your maximum FP every time that procs. So it can be very dangerous. There's some more yellow ember on that horse. Let's get back on Torrent here. And we do have a rat right here. Let's see if we can take care of him without taking any more madness buildup. There we go. And right here we have a new crafting material yet again. This is an Eye of Yellow. It's another thing we're going to take a look at the description of. A shrub fruit bursting with ripened pulp grown in lands afflicted by frenzy. It's used for its pain relieving properties, though it is also known to be a dangerous intoxicant. This item can craft clarifying cured meat, clarifying white cured meat, and clarifying boluses. Those recipes come from 2 different cookbooks, both of which are going to be quite a ways down the line. So once we have that, we're actually going to head over to the cliff face here. We're going to look at a couple of different things, like this golden skull over here. But more importantly, we have the minor Erd tree. This one is guarded. This one you can actually just see what's guarding it if you just line it up correctly. Let's see if we can zoom in with the telescope a little bit. And it looks like, unfortunately, the telescope is going to drop us too low, but you can see just over the rock there is an entity. That is an Erd tree avatar, and we'll be taking care of that in a few parts from now. But down here, down below, there is a teardrop scarab that does hold an incantation, but we're going to be dropping down there from the other side after we've handled the minor Erd tree. What we're also going to do, though, is we're going to follow this cliff face. There are some more rats inside here, but what we want to do is just take this lower path. The only thing down here is a Trina's Lily, so if you are not like me and don't need every single one in existence, you can skip this. With that wooden bridge, on one side you have Erd Tree Guardians, which you can see just off in the distance right there. Really cool armor set that you can farm. And then over on this side, you have, well, you can't actually see him from here, but there is a Demi-human Chief. Now, unlike the Demi-human Chief bosses that we fought in the Coastal Cave some time ago, where we saw Bach, you can farm these ones for the Bloodstained Dagger, which is a pretty fun little dagger. So I'm going to hop off Torrent just because I actually want this enemy to do exactly this. And that is to cast that incantation on us. An incantation that we are actually going to be able to get in just a moment. We can also see that our frenzy, our madness was building up with him as well. So we'll grab another yellow ember here. Let's take care of this enemy, another frenzied villager. And before we go up top to the actual village, we do have some more rats here, so I'm going to go and deal with them very quickly. And I actually didn't mean barricade shield, I wanted to use my ground slam. More Eye of Yellow. I like to just use the target ability anytime I'm walking through the woods here, just to see if I'm missing anything. There we go, and behind us. Nice charge attack. That is another thing that I did actually. I have actually switched out one of the tiers in my Wondrous Physic to give me the extra bonus to charge attacks. But we're heading up here, so there is the village proper. Over to the right, up here, we do have a church with a couple of villagers kind of worshiping it. There is a site of grace back there as well, so if you're not feeling comfortable, you can certainly go back there and get a site of grace a little bit nearby. I'm just going to heal up. And now we're just going to backstab on you. And by that I mean just run and jump. I was hoping for a guard boost there. That is A-okay. Now, inside this church, there is a sacred tier, and there's also the incantation that these villagers are casting on us. But in order to take care of all these rats, I'm a big fan of just mighty shots all the way from the distance. So we have the Kalu Baptismal Church. There is a large rat off in the distance. We're going to be trying to take him out using a critical attack. Now, the reason that didn't one-shot that rat, you may have noticed, is because I was out of FP. So let's get that back. And it looks like that is the last of the small rats. That's okay. So let's just get some loot here. And on this corpse is where we get the Flame of Frenzy. We already saw this mentioned in the Yellow Ember description, and now we have an incantation to back it up. And we're going to learn a little bit more about the world around us, because now we're talking about an incantation originating from the maddening 3 fingers. So far we've only heard talk about the 2 fingers, which are related to the Golden Order. But now we have something a bit more sinister in the 3 fingers. The Flame of Frenzy deals damage and causes buildup of madness. It causes madness in the caster and is only effective against Tarnished. So this costs 16 FP in order to cast. It only requires 16 faiths, so not a very high stat requirement. And as it states, it will cause madness in both the target and the caster itself. The problem is, most enemies in the game are not afflicted by madness, but it is not just madness that this causes, it does cause fire damage, and it's actually fairly decent at that. Now what's really fun about this is that you can charge it in order to increase the range of the burst and actually shoot out more flames from, well, frankly, your eyes, if you charge it up. But now we need to go deal with this large rat, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on Barricade Shield just in case. Then we're going to get up nice and close. Charge attack, jump R2, knock him down for the critical. Only the large rats are capable of being knocked down for a critical like that. And there we go, there's the kill. We even got the lead proc, and here is our Sacred Tear, which of course will improve the efficacy of our current flasks. And then from here, what I like to do is actually head out around back, because there are some arterial leaves back here. A little bit of root resin. So I'm gonna get on Torrent, and I'm gonna hop up on these rocks and just carefully loop around right on this little patch of grass right here. There are 4 arterial leaves, non-respawning of course. And now we can take care of the rest of the village itself. So there's the entrance to the church. You can see here we do have a few more villagers inside the Ailing Village. Most of them are completely oblivious to us, so we can just run up and get a few backstabs. It is the easiest way to deal with all of them. You absolutely can summon your spirits if needed. And get a few glass shards from them, why not? It's actually quicker just to kill them instead of worrying about the backstabs here. There we go, he was about to cast another Flame of Frenzy on us, Golden Rune in that skill. But over here we have the Flame Crest Wooden Shield. A fairly unremarkable shield in all regards other than it's a really cool design. The yellow flame is the symbol of the affliction, serving as a warning to those who might approach the village. Doesn't have 100% physical damage negation, really low guard boost, really not too impressive all around. I guess a damage negation of 50 on Holy is okay, especially for a shield of that weight, but it is something that does leave a little to be desired. So around here we do have some more rats that we can deal with. As far as loot goes, that is actually all that the village has to offer. But we do have a few more enemies just over yonder. But first, let's go make sure we grab that one Site of Grace. And we just hop on Torrent here. Make sure over by this little camp we grab a Golden Rune level 2. So just to give you an idea of where we were, down on this ramp, there was the Trina's Lily. We had the one camp there with the Ailing villagers, and over here we have another one with a shiny. And now we're just going to be heading kind of to the northeast here. And you can see, if I jump a little bit, there is the Site of Grace right here. This is the Ailing Village outskirts Site of Grace. No need to rest just now because we're only going to kill a handful more enemies and then we're going to be warping back to the rampart Site of Grace anyway. But the other enemies are just over here right on the edge of the cliff, and we have 3 more misbegotten, 2 of which can fly and are archers, and 1 who will just stay on the ground. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with a mighty shot. Almost an instant kill, and unfortunate that it wasn't enough. But there we go. And I think what we'll do is, let's have some fun. Let's two-hand and let's go in with a ground slam on this misbegotten. Instant knockdown, and again, because it's so much fun. Open them up for a critical. There we have it. I didn't get the critical, not sure why, but that's actually it for this entire plateau. There's not a whole lot up here. You can run around and get more yellow embers and of course the Eyes of Yellow. But in terms of loot, we've already gotten everything we need, so we're going to head back to that Site of Grace right behind me, which is the Castle Morn Rampart Site of Grace. from here, we are going to be making our way sort of up the main path. This is the main path that brought us into the Weeping Peninsula. And we're going to be heading up this direction. There's actually another site of grace that is incredibly close. But first, let's get our bow out. And let's deal with some dogs here. And you know what? No. I want to actually use Catch Flame. I want to try to use this a bit more. So let's just get a little sneaky if we can. Get you to ricochet off of my turtle shell, or just go right around it. Perfect. Over at this crucifix, we have 5 rainbow stones. Now I'm going to get the bow out because we do have 4 dogs here, and I would much rather just take care of them from a distance with Mighty Shot. Okay, there's 3. There's 1 more just on the other side. There is a single Trina's Lily inside of this pond. There we have it. There is the Trina's Lily. Looks like this one probably dropped some thin beast bones. And over there, up at that tower, there is a really fun weapon. We've actually already hinted at it a few times, but first, even though we're not going to rest, let's just go up here to this site of grace. Hopped on Torrent for all of 2 seconds. Waste not, want not. And what I really enjoy here is that up at the very top of that tower, once it comes into focus, there is a soldier on a ballista. And he's actually going to take care of all of these demi-humans for us. These poor demi-humans who don't even know what's coming. Well, his aim is a little unimpressive today. He'll get there. I believe in him. So let's make our way up here, and as we approach, you can see just off in the distance, straight ahead, there is a little bulb growing out of the ground. These are very small Miranda blooms. Unlike the other ones that we've seen, they are stationary. So they're going to open up like this, and as we approach, they're just going to spew out their poison gas. You can kill them. They're a little bit hard to hit, but if you use your bow from a distance, and you just manually aim this, aim right for the center. 2 shots ought to do it. However, I really don't think it's worth it. What I like to do instead is simply just hop on Torrent. We're going to ride around the edge. There are a couple of shinies in the actual grass here. They're just a couple of Golden Rune level 1s. But what we're going to do is get up on this rocky outcropping. There's a dog here that we want to deal with. There is 1 more dog who's actually patrolling. You can see him just out in the distance there. Let's see if we can't hit him. What I'm going to do to ensure this is I'm going to put on my Arrow Reach Talisman. Because even though the Mighty Shot does have increased range, this will... That just went right through his legs. This will make it even further. There we go. Now let's go back to the Turtle Talisman. And there is our next victim. Grab some more smoldering butterflies. Of course I ran out of FP just now. Okay, use my Swirly task. There is an enemy just up on this rampart right here, and he is currently casting some fire bombs at us. You can sneak around him. If you go just behind these walls, you can actually get to the backside of him, or you can just take him on head on, which is exactly what we'll be doing. But first, let's just hop on Torrent, just so we can ride through nice and quick. Grab that Golden Rune, this one over here, and just completely avoid being poisoned in the first place. So just give it a nice wide berth. And it actually looks like he has moved. So this is new. I actually haven't seen this happen. So I'm going to check around back and see where it is we can get to. You get a good look at the Spirit Spring that's just behind the Forlorn Hound Everjail back in Limgrave. There's the site of grace we were just at. So if we head in here, here's the Forest Lookout Tower. There's only 2 more enemies, one at the very top on the ballista, and another one who is probably looking for us. I have never seen this before. I'm not sure where he is. Maybe he actually climbed up to the top. Well, this will be interesting. He's throwing firebombs still. I've never seen this before. In my multiple practice routes of this area, he's down there somewhere. Right, so with this one, if you actually approach him and give him just a second to let go of the ballista, then you can get a free backstab on him. Also, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. You can actually break the ballista. I promise you can. Hey, there we go. Guard counter, wonderful. And inside here, this is the item that we have been waiting for, the hand ballista. A very, very fun, albeit very slow weapon with somewhat limited ammo this early on. So the hand ballista, it says that it requires 30 strength in order to use. However, it is only used in two hands, meaning the requirement at any given time is only 20 in order to use this weapon. It does take 14 dexterity, pretty good range for an oversized crossbow. It does weigh 10. It weighs quite a bit, and it only fires the ballista shots, the ones that we actually just got 5 of. We have seen them for sale a couple of times, so if you want to use this, stock up. Now with our current stats at only 15, we are 5 away from using this, but we do have the Strength Knot Crystal tier that we can use in our Flask of Wondrous Physic, and if we use that, we'd be able to use the hand ballista for 3 minutes, and I think we'll do exactly that here in a little bit. Not in this episode, but up and coming. So with the Forest Lookout Tower done, let's just hop down. Let's see if he was able to take care of any of the demi-humans, maybe one. Never pass out a crystal skull, or at least play soccer with it. And tell you what, let's just do a little riding cast flip. There are golden skulls everywhere. This is pretty fun. You can see that they are cowering, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, waste not, want not. I don't think I'm using that phrase correctly. Get a rickety shield from this one. There are a couple of ambushes coming up. Down there also, you can actually see them hiding a little bit. There's a misbegotten ambush, so you have a little camp here where there's shiny, and you have a misbegotten asleep there, and just over there you can just make them out in those weeds. We'll be going there here in just a moment. But there are also several patrolling groups of demi-humans. Here we have one right here. Let's go and focus on the big one first. There we go. Perfect. And I say perfect as I get hit, as I normally do. There we go. And we've got some string, good for those roped pots that we have not used yet. There's an owl over there if you need another slumbering egg. And as we head down this hill, you can see 2 shinies just in the middle of nowhere. Well, already we have an ambush, so I don't even need to mention the one there. Okay, more string, rickety shield string, and a rainbow stone. We got a 3 for there. But as we approach there, we're going to be ambushed yet again. But I do want to mention over here. This direction will lead us to a mine. That's what this symbol is right here. Just above it, right in this area, that is where we were looking down from this plateau, looking down at that teardrop scarab that I mentioned held an incantation. So the plan is, next time, we're not wrapping up just yet, but next time we're going to make our way to the mine, and then we will go and tackle this area with the minor Erdtree and hop down here to get that teardrop scarab. But I just wanted to put those map pieces together for you. At this point, I'm actually going to just disembark Torrent and see if I can take these ones out before I engage in the ambush here. Moving a little bit fast for Mighty Shot, that's okay. Let's just get this triggered. I absolutely love Ground Slam. And let's just get the shield out with Barricade Shield. Makes things just trivial. Even though it only lasts for 10 seconds. It's so weird when you actually get that double knockdown because the sound is just so awkwardly placed. I would like to take care of the one who's almost dead, please. There we go. There we have it. Nothing too difficult. And let's grab the spoils. Just a few strings and some gold pinch excrement. Now over here we have a set of ruins. We will be taking this on here in a little bit, but not just yet. Instead, we're going to be making our way. We have another roving band here, and I should probably... We're not actually going to take them out because we're going to be resting at a site of grace here in a moment anyway. So instead, let's just head this way. And I'm going to be taking care of those misbegottens that we saw just over here. And in order to do so, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to temporarily switch my talisman again to the axe talisman. And I could use the Flask of Wondrous Physic, and you know what? I think I actually will. Just because we're going to be resting at a site of grace here. Here's Misbegotten number 1. One shot. Let's see if we can sneak up on you. And there we have it. And on this corpse, we get a rainbow stone. And the cave that we want to explore is right down on this path, but just so we can take a look at it, we saw one of these in Mistwood. We have another one of these ghostly candelabras, and if we activate it, there is a ghost that we can follow that will take us to Earthbore Cave. It's funny because these ghosts actually remind me of that theory, and I believe it was actually disproven, that in Skyrim if you found a fox it would always lead you to an interesting point. Well, that's what these ghosts do, and I actually wish they would use it more often. But I'm not going to wait for him, he's just going to lead us down here anyway. But inside here, we do have a site of grace like at the beginning of every cave. So let's just rest up, and we'll do a full rest. Make sure that we use our sacred tear. Absolutely no reason not to. And right here, you can see a very obvious trap. You have a treasure chest that you want to get to, but you have a floor that is not so cleverly hidden as a breakable floor. So I'm actually going to go through it, but I did include glowstones on my hotbar. What I like to do, and I actually discovered this recently, if you toss a glowstone, it'll actually go through the floor if you're close enough. So now we're just going to, tell you what, I'm probably actually going to use Catch Flame a little bit. And we're just going to head down here, and we have a few rats, big and little. Okay, there we got the big one dealt with. Here's a small rat. Here's another. There we go, and there's another one. Golden Rune 3, that is from the big rat. But you can see that the glowstone actually made its way all the way down here, which I absolutely love, that it'll go through the floor and just light up this room. Otherwise, it's extremely dark in here. So that is going to be the way forward to the boss. It's a very, very small cave. I'm actually going to toss another glowstone just so you can see better. There we go. Because we do want to make our way back up top to where that treasure was. On this corpse, we have a Golden Rune 1. So that would have been actually on the way down. Apologize if it's a little dark here. Here's the summoning pool in case you're looking for it. Just not going to use another glowstone right at this moment because right up here, there's the treasure. And inside here, if you really want some incredible stamina regeneration, use the Great Turtle Shell, the Turtle Talisman, and Pickled Turtleneck, and you'll just watch that stamina just shoot right back up. But we're dropping back down, only a couple more enemies in the way between us and the boss. Everyone's favorite boss coming up. There we go. Make sure you grab some kukris and 5 more glowstones. And we're going to start making our way down. I didn't mean to drop all the way because we're going to take some fall damage. That's alright. Grab some silver fireflies. And before you enter in here, this is where you're going to want to prepare. And that's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to toss a glowstone. It doesn't last forever, but it'll light up the area just a little bit better. And I will use heal. So I need to get out my finger seal here. And we have a Runebear. And we're going to start this Runebear with a sleep pod. And I'm going to do my best not to die, but I make no promises because I'm absolutely rubbish at this fight, believe it or not. You should choose to believe it. Okay, that was not a very good start. Make sure we're right in front of that sweet spot. But I do want to try and use Barricade Shield if at all possible. Good damage there. is broken, but he gave me that opportunity. I'm going to heal up just to be safe. And barricade shield. And just loop around. Jumping attacks after that are going to be a good option, so we can hopefully get another knockdown on him. Barricade shield activated again. Okay, really liking this loop he has. Would not be a bad idea for me to get another sleep pod going, if at all possible. That would have been a perfect opportunity, but I was out of FP. That's not what I wanted. Now I'm just hitting all the wrong things. Okay, heal up. And I got grabbed. Okay. Let's see if we can salvage this. There wasn't too much damage, though. That should put him to sleep, I believe. Let's re-up on the fire grease. Oh, I don't know if I can get to his sweet spot. This is going to... Oh! No, because we jumped on his head. We goom stomped him. Okay, good dodge. What I really should be doing is using my Flask of Wondrous Physic here. Good damage with that charge attack. And again. Barricade shield up. Good guard counter. There's the knockdown. This should do it as long as we can get here. We can't, but we can still get the finished. The finished, apparently, with a T. But that is the Runebear done, and it's that simple. I hate Runebears. I'm sure you have a better strategy. Let me know in the comments below. Your strategy is probably just to skip this cave, and I completely understand. But you get the Spell Drake Talisman. I don't know that you need this, because there are better versions of this talisman out there, but this will reduce magic damage by about 13%. Couple more goodies though. You do have 5 smoldering butterflies and a Tarina's lily. And I only used 2 for that fight, so hey, we're only down by 1. Anyway, let's head back to the beginning of Earthbore Cave. And let's just make our way back outside. Let's check the time here. It's night. I actually want to change this to morning. We have several more demi-humans, so I'd rather them not be enraged. Now we'll make our way back outside, and like I said, we do have a few different roving groups of demi-humans. It is best to take them out as you find them, instead of heading to the ruins with a bunch of demi-humans in tow. So let's just keep kind of towards the cliff. We should be able to spot them. There's some right on this rocky outcropping. There's a group right there. Let's get Catch Flame ready. There we go. Good kill. Excellent. Alright, now let's hop off Torrent. Let's barricade shield. Gotta love that even the big hits get deflected off of barricade shield. And we got another glowstone, which is great. I love using glowstones. Oh, 2 glowstones. Let us top off on our FP. And from the ruins, what I like to do is I like to take it from the north on down. Because inside, you can actually see just through this crack right there, there is a large and imposing demi-human, and that is a Demi-human Queen. Remember what we learned though about demi-humans. If you slay the leader, the other ones will cower. And that is going to be exactly what I intend to do with the Demi-human Queen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Flask of Wonders Physic, so that coupled with the Axe Talisman is going to give me some really good charge attack. Then I'm going to try and knock the Queen down to get a critical, and then I'm going to back up and I'm actually going to poison using those poison bone arrows that I have. And just for a little bit extra damage, use my last fire grease here. Level 2 hand, and let's just run in there as quick as we can. Charge R2, and again, there's the knockdown. Okay, we're too late for the critical, that's okay. Now let's just go right through the legs and run away. So what I want to do is, like I said, we're going to now poison the Queen as soon as we get the opportunity. I don't actually want to kill these little ones because I want to show what happens when you've killed the leader here. All right, so there she is by herself. Let's actually do a mighty shot. Let's not do a mighty shot because that's going to get us killed. I thought this would be fun to show off, but in reality, this is not very fun. Especially because I have more still at the ready. Come on, show your face. Okay, not poisoned yet. Now she is. And what I love about her sorceries, though, is that she can actually hurt the other demi-humans. So, now, let's just give her some distance. She is already poisoned. She's going to be poisoned for some time. That may actually even be enough to kill her. But let's just ride around. Now, she has two. She has the Glintstone Pebble, and she also has the Crystal Barrage. Crystal Barrage, if you take it at this level, can be incredibly dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, well, I tried to kill her with Catch Flame, but she ended up just getting killed herself from the poison. But now all the other demi-humans in the immediate area will cower. And we get 2 drops, the Demi-human Queen Staff and the Crystal Burst. I called it Crystal Barrage. My apologies. It is the Crystal Burst. The Demi-human's Queen Staff. This was given to the demi-humans as a gift in order to foster peace. Now, the only person that I know of who is desperately trying to foster peace with the demi-humans is Kenneth Haight, and I wonder if this was a gift from him, especially since this is sneered at by fools in the academy, so it doesn't seem like a sorcerer would have given this away. But this has the exact same stat requirements as the Glintstone Staff, only 6 strength and 10 intelligence, but you can see that the sorcery scaling with our current stats is 117 compared to 111. In terms of early game staffs, this is most likely the best, with the only exception being the Meteorite Staff, which you get out in Caelid, but the Meteorite Staff cannot be upgraded. Now, if you don't plan on going, say, above 40 intelligence, the Demi-human Queen Staff, once you begin upgrading it, will outcompete all other staffs in its class. There are some that are better for certain sorceries later on, but this is a fantastic all-around early game staff. And then we also got the Crystal Burst sorcery, which we just saw in action. It does require 18 intelligence in order to cast. It does require 14 FP in order to cast. But what's really cool is that this can be cast in chain. In other words, it can be cast repeatedly. You can do it in motion, so you can do it from horseback, and you can charge it to increase its damage. This is also the first sorcery that mentions the Crystallians. We'll talk more about them as we approach them. So I'm actually going to ignore these poor cowering demi-humans. We do have a few more that will not be cowering, but first let's head inside the ruins right here. And just over on this corpse, we do have 2 Arteria Leaves. And as you head outside, just be wary, there are a few more ambushes lying in wait for us. What I want to do is I want to take care of the chief. We have some enemies right there, but just beyond this wall. Let's actually get ready with our mace here, or their flail. There is the chief. I'm going to open it up just for fun with a ground slam, followed by a charge R2. Hit miss. Good. Alright, so barricade shield it is then. Cause him to recoil though, because of that extra hardness. There's the knockdown. There's the critical. And that is it for that chief. Now that is one of the chiefs. Like I said, they can drop the Bloodstained Dagger. So if you want to farm it, this is one of the 2 in the immediate area that you can actually farm it from. Alright, so that should be most of the demi-humans taken care of. And the subterranean area, because remember, every rune has a basement, is just over this wall and down these stairs. So you do need torrents, similar to the Dragonburn ruins in Limgrave. Inside here, not a trap chest, so you can open this safely. We have the Shield of the Guilty. As far as a functional shield, it's nothing too impressive. A whopping 68% physical damage reduction, only 33 guard boost. But where this shield is really meant to be utilized is in its offensive abilities. It causes blood loss buildup, it only weighs 2, and it comes with shield bash, so you can actually use this to beat enemies back and cause that blood buildup on him. Venerating the repose of the soul, this shield boosts focus. So not only does this shield have the bleed loss ability against your opponents, but if you take a look at my focus in the bottom right, I am currently 152. This shield brings me up to 192. It gives you an extra 40 points. Focus increases your defense against sleep and madness. So putting this on, when I'm up against the Ailing villagers that were casting the Flame of Frenzy, I would have more protection against the madness. But it also mentions the Briars of Sin, something we'll have to explore more as we encounter that term again. Heading back outside, we're just gonna hop on Torrent. We are gonna make our way to one more Site of Grace before we wrap up. We also have one more important item, so we're just gonna head northwards beyond the ruins. Never pass up an opportunity to get a little bit of root resin. Just beyond the ruins, beyond this tree, you have a few small Miranda blooms. And we are just going to head right here and grab the Faith Knot Crystal Tear. Just like the Strength Knot Crystal Tear, this is going to increase our faith by 10 for 3 minutes when it's utilized in the Flask of Wondrous Physic. Just over this way beyond those Miranda blooms, there is that wooden bridge that I showed off, as well as some of those Erdtree Guardians. We will deal with them next time. There's a statue of roses, indicating a catacomb is nearby. There's the minor Erdtree, and here is yet another church. A few enemies on the way, let's just deal with them. Just some nobles here. There we go. And we get anything good? A row of fruit? Absolutely not. Let's talk to this ghost here. The mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. O Marika, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child. Before we head in, we do have this graveyard. Just be ready for the skeletons that will appear. And of course, we will have to take care of them twice, since we're not using our holy water pots. Actually going to forego finishing him off to take care of that one. And there we get a couple of blood grease. Let's make our way back further into the graveyard. Because over here on this corpse, we get the Gilded Iron Shield. The Gilded Iron Shield, it only weighs 3, has 78% physical damage reduction, and a guard boost of 41. It does come with the parry skill as innate. Though the gold leaf is peeling and the effect is slight, it still boosts holy damage negation. So this has 51, only ever so slightly higher than the Flamecrest wooden shield that we picked up last time, but it does have a lower weight requirement. Inside the Church of Pilgrimage, grab another Sacred Tear, and as we rest at this Site of Grace, we're of course going to use that Sacred Tear right away. Even further boosting the efficiency of our flask, but we also have another opportunity to talk to Melina.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
Lord Godfrey, and we'll be talking and learning more about Lord Godfrey as we approach Stormvale Castle. But that is for another time altogether. That is going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in Elden Ring. I hope you learned something. If you did, let me know down below what you learned, and if I missed something, or if you have a better strategy for taking on the Runebear, like again, completely bypassing Earthbore Cave, let me know that too, so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.